Hello and welcome to the Developer Show. I'm your host, Timothy Jordan, and this is a quick view of what happened in the last week, also known as the TLDR. First, in the world of Android, there's a new Fingerprint API sample available to help you authenticate to remote servers. The Play Games Services toolset has a new feature that'll help you balance your virtual economy so that you can earn more with in-game purchases. Get started with Android and Android Studio and zombies with a new video from some of your favorite Android experts shot at the spooky YouTube space in LA. And the Big Android BBQ happened last week in Texas. Learn more about improving Android performance and more with videos from the barbecue on the Android Developers channel now. On the show today are Ian and Katherine to talk about Android and more.
Yeehaw!
Hi, Timothy.
Hi. Brillo and Weave are a platform for IoT, and the invite program is now taking requests to join so that you can access code, documentation, and the developer console. And three big announcements in the area of training. One, an Android developer immersive training course is going to be offered in January 2016 as part of a partnership between General Assembly and Google developers. There are also now courses for developing apps for Android Wear, Google Cast, Android TV, and Android Auto, all your favorite new form factors. Check out the blog posts linked below for info on each. And the Tech Entrepreneur Nano degree has launched on Udacity. It helps you learn what it takes to design, validate, prototype, monetize, and market apps and grow them into a scalable business. Okay, in the area of the web, you can dramatically improve the performance of your web pages with the Accelerated Mobile Pages project. This and similar presentations were given at the SF HTML5 meetup last week and are now available to watch on their YouTube channel. The Chrome Dev Summit is coming up soon. Check out the schedule and speakers now live on the event site. And on the show today to talk about the web is Paul Bakaus.
What up?
And with that, this message from Texas. Hey everybody, we're here at the Big Android BBQ. I'm Timothy.
I'm Colt. I'm Chet.
And it's too bad that you're not here, but that doesn't mean that you have to miss out on all the awesome content.
That's right, because we have the videos from the Big Android BBQ online right now on the Android Developers YouTube channel just for you.
And you, and the one in the back there, but not the person next to him.
Well, no, but they're here at the show, so it's not really for them.
So it's also for them.
But
it's not for them.
They're
going to keep going.
You
can check out the playlist anytime.
I love the Big Android BBQ. It's an entire weekend of nerding out. It's just wonderful.
Now listen here, we got two things on the agenda besides that. Keynote, performance, barbecue.
And ROS stands for Run of Slot.
Welcome to Forget the Storage Permission. It's not often we go to a tech conference and get to go to a talk where we're specifically going to be forgetting things.
Welcome to my talk. We're going to go over system sleep. I know you're all really excited.
And that was the barbecue.
Oh, so
I got this hat for going to the barbecue. Do you like it?
What else did you bring us?
Barbecue, I hope.
Okay, so I'm not going to keep up the accent, but I am going to keep the hat on in honor of the Big Android BBQ. Pretty great time out there.
Yeah.
A lot of great videos on the playlist. All right, we're going to check those out. So the Fingerprint API, I'm really excited about this. I've been trying to make other people excited about this too, but I think it's hard to draw the connection from passwords totally suck to biometric recognition helps solve the problem to, hey, this is a cool API. But it is.
It's really hard on mobile because you're trading off that security for the actual usefulness of the feature. And Fingerprint actually goes a long way of making it super easy to actually be secure. So.
But what about the devices that don't have the fingerprint sensor?
Well, the best part about this sample is it's built on the Key Store API, which works on all devices, even if they don't have fingerprint sensors. So we actually have a confirmed credentials sample, which goes through that whole flow of going back to.
So you might as well get started with it. And then as more devices get those sensors, it's just going to work.
Magical.
Magical. Okay. The other thing that I wanted to talk about in the world of Android is getting started with Android and Android Studio and zombies. Let's talk about this in a moment, but first, the clip.
I'm going to step you through the process of getting started with Android using Android Studio, while also sharing some pro tips based on the experiences of a real Android startup.
Ready, 1, 2, 1.
Well, that was unexpected.
What the hell was that? What's going on?
Zombies. Obviously, those were zombies. I don't know how, but I bet the bald guy is somehow to blame.
Oh, sure. Solve one problem with the Android Nomicon and suddenly this is my fault?
How are we gonna survive a zombie apocalypse? We don't have any training. It's not like we can go to Google Play, download an app.
And it kind of looks like you got away.
You could say that. You could say that. You'll have to watch the full video. It is one of those videos you want to watch the whole way through.
Ah, what a teaser.
At least you got to see what happens, right? That's the whole point.
It is one of those videos, and that's what's so, I think, unique about it, is that, like, as for a getting started video, I wanted to watch every single minute of it.
Well, zombies are fun.
Yeah.
Well, not fun, but, you know, like, it's engaging, right? And when we're talking about tools and stuff like that, right, you gotta start at the basics, right? So this gives us a really good way of kind of going through semi-real life. You know, maybe your startup isn't going against zombies, but going up against an equally pressing problem,
right? I mean, you never know.
Yeah, it could be anything, right? It doesn't have to be zombies, right? But it's just as important to get through these same steps.
And I think that's where a lot of the beginners drop off because they get stuck on how to actually set everything up. So.
Yeah, once you actually get an app going, right, then it's pretty easy to make those little changes and stuff to make it awesome.
Well, and I think for our audience, if you've been wanting to get started in Android development, or if maybe one of your friends, that means you, haven't had the chance yet, please check this one out. I think it's a really great way to get started with Android.
Fantastic.
And zombies.
And zombies.
And zombies. All right, moving over to the web. Last week, the SF HTML5 meetup happened, and one of the big topics discussed was the AMP project. Paul, tell us about the AMP project. Why is it important?
So you know I love the web, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right now, if you look at the mobile web, especially the part that is news sites and media sites, right? You really never get to the content because it's just really, really cluttered with ads and beacons and analytics.
You get to the content eventually.
Well, eventually, right?
4-second load time.
But so after 3 seconds, it turns out that 40% of all users drop off.
Wow.
And after 10 seconds, everyone drops off.
That's a huge
which is crazy, right?
Yeah.
So that seems to be a huge issue. At least I think so. And a lot of other people thought so as well, including publishers, because then this conflict of interest scenario, right? They want a great user experience, but they also want money, turns out. So the AMP project is a way to fix that. It's born by all those partners and companies. And what it does is it's a restricted HTML framework sort of library that you put in your page, and then it controls what can be loaded, what can't, and the kind of flow. Right? So it means that you can't actually make your page slow anymore.
So it's fast by default.
Exactly.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And we should note, though, that it's still pretty early. So it's a good time to check it out and start playing with it and give feedback.
Yeah, that's the whole purpose, really. Right? Like launches sometimes slated maybe for next year, but we want people to check it out very early and work with us.
Very cool.
Well, perf matters, you know, especially for the mobile web, right?
Nice. Hashtag perf matters. And for the last clip of our show today, the Electronic Frontier Foundation recently had their 25th anniversary party, and we sent along our senior open internet correspondent, Derek Slater.
Okay, I'm here with Cindy Cohen, the Executive Director of the Electronic Frontier Foundation. Cindy, can you tell us more about what the Electronic Frontier Foundation is?
Well, the EFF is around to make sure that when you go online, your rights go with you. So we do legal cases, we do policy work, we build technologies, all designed to make sure that the internet stays free, open, and a place of privacy and security for everybody.
The things that we as longtime supporters of EFF care about are now basic human rights issues that everyone cares about.
We're here with Will Wheaton. Will, thanks for joining us.
I'm happy to be here.
Will, how did you get involved with the Electronic Frontier Foundation? What brought you to them?
I found out about Electronic Frontier Foundation right after Operation Sun Devil. I knew of a fair number of people that were involved in that just from IRC and bulletin board systems, and I thought the EFF was doing for our rights online what ACLU is doing for our rights in our meat space world. And it was in 2002 that I finally had an opportunity to really get involved with the organization.
EFF has a building full of astounding ninja lawyers and activists and technologists and just killer nerds.
What would you say to developers today? What can they do to help support the fight for internet freedom in coding and beyond?
Well, I think that, apart from supporting EFF in general, which is like a really important thing to do, not just with your dollars, but also with your name and getting involved in, sort of the phone-ins and the mass letter writing campaigns. I think developing software that considers the privacy needs of everyday people, of people who aren't super nerds, is a really important dimension here.
Well, the first thing developers ought to do is make sure that you're developing tools for a world you want to live in. Make sure they've got security, make sure you keep your users' protections in mind, make sure you would want to be a user of the tools that you build. I think this is an important time right now where developing security from the very beginning of technologies is tremendously important, more important than ever before.
Great. Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you all to EFF, to Cindy, and to Sherry.
And just before we go, I'd like to ask the panel a question, as usual. What is going to be your next barbecue startup?
Ooh, I really want to bring our zombie startup to life, Meter. Barbecue on delivery. That's a great idea, right?
Nice. It's an excellent idea, but barbecue, not brains.
The barbecue, yes.
Yeah.
Even better than delivery, I want to do a startup that 3D prints burgers. So you can just have a snack in the middle of the night.
Burgers in the middle of the night. It's what all of us need all the time.
All right, nice. But what I really need is an infinite strip of bacon, like bacon tape.
And winner. Winner right there. Thank you for joining us on the Developer Show this week. I'm Timothy Jordan. I'm your host, and I will see you next time. Until then, this is DevLife.
Come on. Why isn't this compiling? What's going on? Erg, come on.
Wait. What's going on, man?
I don't know. I've been staring at this code all day. It doesn't compile. I don't know what's going on.
Are you missing a comma just there?
Oh.